Hello, Smoky Hill. Welcome to week 5 of Lent. We've been going through this reflection on reconciliation, each week with a different theme that helps us to understand what it might look like to become both reconciled to God and to each other. And this week's theme is sacrifice. And I don't know how you are feeling today, but I know that my own heart is heavy with 2 mass shootings in the last week. One in Atlanta, targeting Asian-owned businesses, and here, very close to home, just down the street in Boulder. My heart is heavy after a year of pandemic and isolation. My heart is heavy from the personal things that are part of my own story, and I know that you have your own as well. So what does it look like to think more deeply about sacrifice in the place of already feeling so much loss and pain? Now, I think there's a unique invitation for us this year in Lent to enter into Jesus' sacrifice and his suffering in a very unique way. We have experienced collectively a different kind of reality this past year than any of us have ever known. We have experienced disorientation and confusion, the loss of what is familiar, maybe isolation from friends and family, changes in our friendships, changes in our church, changes in our own thoughts and feelings and even bodies as we've wrestled through this pandemic. And there's something in that of Jesus' sacrifice for us that we can experience, I think, more fully this year. There's an opportunity for us. But the reality is we may not want to get any closer to sacrifice, to these feelings of pain and loss that Jesus stepped so deeply and fully into on our behalf. And I wonder for you, as you wrestle maybe with this invitation and desire to identify more deeply with Jesus in his sacrifice and suffering, and the reality that perhaps you've had enough of suffering. Perhaps you feel resistant or reluctant, as I do, to engage with suffering anymore. And I just want to remind us and remind myself that even in the moments of Jesus' sacrifice, as he was on the cross, he still reached out in compassion. In the midst of sacrifice, he reached towards the thief on his side. He reached towards his mother and John, his disciple, connecting them to each other. And I think we have the same invitation from Jesus, that even though he sacrifices and suffers for us, it is out of his love and compassion. And in the midst of our own suffering and loss and our own fear, we have the opportunity to be comforted, to be received, to be welcomed by Jesus. His sacrifice doesn't distance us from him, it brings us close. So be blessed this week as you think about Jesus' sacrifice, as you maybe take some time to express gratitude for what that means to you personally, as you think about suffering and the way that has impacted your life this past year. Bring that to Jesus and let him comfort you in the midst of his own sacrifice and suffering.